Now I think we're live. Hey, what's up, you guys? It is Tyler. Welcome back to the Tyler channel. Welcome to another review of Monday Night Raw. This is our second week of me reviewing Monday Night Raw for you guys. As I promised, I will be reviewing Monday Night Raw, Tuesday SmackDown, and Wednesday night's NXT for the entire month of January. So I'm going to put myself through this torture for you guys. As long as you guys keep hitting that like button and that subscribe button, I'll keep doing this. But I'm just coming off of having a head cold. You guys can tell by my voice. I'm not entirely well, but getting better. You know, it's not like, well, I can't speak, I can't go to work. I mean, I went to work today, so that's that's a good thing. But yeah, I came home from work and I'm like, ooh, let me turn on Monday Night Raw. Well, when I came home it was like 6 something. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take a shower, get ready for Raw. And I'm like, I don't think I'm too excited for this show because last week's episode, it was a good episode, but I'm like, usually when there's a good episode, then there comes like a few Snorefests, a few bad episodes of Raw, a few episodes where it's like, I don't think I can watch this episode. And I was right. This was one of those episodes where I could have completely skipped it and probably would have missed anything. This was a really boring episode of Monday Night Raw. There were two highlights on this show, but overall the show was just, that was the show overall. Well, let's go through it. I do have some notes written down here. I'm gonna go real quick. Before I do that, let me check the comment section. I have to check this comment section to do it yet. Yeah, Ramsey, I know I'm late. No, I'm not late. I'm not late. Why don't you tell Raw to stop going overtime? This show is already 3 hours long. There is no reason why this show is ending at 11:15 p.m. The show started at 8 and ends at 11. Why is it starting? Why is it ending at 11:15? I already seen 3 hours of the show. I don't need 3 hours. I don't need overtime. I don't need to see any more of this show. So tell them to stop going overtime, and now I will finish this on time. Anyways, that being said, let's start off the show. It was start off the show with the Roman Reigns promo. I mean, thank God. I mean, not thank God. I mean, I really don't care that. I mean, is this as long as Stephanie or Kurt did start off the show? Because honestly, you know, for all the people who could play like, oh, I always hated what Stephanie and Triple H start off the show, and yeah, that was very annoying. But you know, when Kurt Angle starts off the show every single week, it could get repetitive at times. I wouldn't say I hate it as much as I hate like Stephanie starting off the show, but it could just be repetitive sometimes. I think just like So when Roman starts off the show, I'm like, okay. I don't like Roman, but change of pace, I'll take it. So it starts off with, oh yeah, delete, Bang Bus GM says in the comment section. Starts off with Roman cutting a promo. I really didn't pay too much attention to the context of what he was saying, but he was talking about beating Samoa Joe and all that kind of stuff. Next thing you know, he was interrupted by Jason Jordan. Jason Jordan really booed by the crowd, as I thought he was. I expected him to be, and he was. He came out here, and he was just, it was so awkward. He came out here, he was awkwardly praising Roman Reigns, like, yeah, you beat Samoa Joe, you're the Intercontinental Champion, you're this, you're that, you're the big Dolph, arf, arf. It was just so weird. I'm just like, could Seth come out already, please? Jason Jordan was doing this for about a good minute and a half, 2 minutes. I'm like, oh my God, can you suck his dick any harder? Then Seth Rollins came out. Thank God he saved us from this. He checked him at the door. I just love when Seth Rollins comes out and just checks Jason Jordan. They're like, man, you got a lot more to learn. Young grasshopper, you have a lot to learn. All this other kind of stuff. After that, the Balor Club comes out and they interrupt. And so the Balor Club comes out and they interrupt. And pretty excited because now we have Finn Balor, Luke Gallows, and Carl Anderson, and they're a faction. And well, before that, we didn't know if they were actually a faction. We just kind of put this closer because I'm kind of loud. Before that, we didn't know if they were actually a faction. We just like, oh, well, this might be a one-time thing. I said it last week on a previous review. I said, oh, well, I really hope that they're going to be a faction. This is a one-time thing. But we saw them come out together. I'm like, yes, Battle Club is a thing now. Whew. So they come out, they interrupt, and they're like, yeah, the Battle Club's finally together. We set the stone. We set the path. and way for all factions to come to WWE, all that kind of stuff. And then Finn Balor says something like the Balor Club finally unites, and then Jason Jordan would like combat it with the Champions Club finally unites, and I'm like, Jason, shut up. Shut up, Jason. This whole segment, I feel like, was tailor-made to make you dislike. Put it this way. WWE's not entirely stupid. I do think that they are intentionally making you dislike Jason Jordan because they're planning on turning him heel soon. So if that's their doing, they're doing a good job. However, if by some way of light, which I am totally not adding out, they think this is their way of getting Jason Jordan over, they need to stop what they're doing right now, backtrack, and figure out something else, because him riding the Shield is it's having the complete backwards effect if they had not noticed yet. So my throat is still killing me. Hold on, I need some water. Let me down some real quick before I continue. Otherwise, my throat's gonna keep on doing this. Okay, I think I'm a little bit better now. So Kurt Angle comes out and he announces that we're going to see Balor Club versus I call it the Sword of Shield, because it's not the Shield without Dean Ambrose. So the Balor Club versus the Sword of Shield later on tonight, which is going to be a pretty cool match. The next match we had was Sasha Banks and Bayley versus Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville for the umpteenth millionth time. I could not care any less about this match, and I didn't even bother to watch it. I was zoned out watching something else. So Sasha Banks' team won. I must say, I'm so tired of Absolution and Sasha Banks feud. Go have them face somebody. I know, I get that Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Mickie James are the top baby faces. They might be the only baby faces on the roster. Now I think about it. Let me think. Let me think. Sasha, Bayley, Mickie, Asuka. Yeah, I think they're really the only baby faces on the roster except for Asuka. And if that's really the case, then have Asuka team up with Sasha and Bayley every once in a while. I mean, it's not like they're going to have Asuka lose. So have them team up with Asuka. Or how about you don't do Absolution versus the same team over and over again? Do Mandy Rose versus freaking Asuka, or Sonya Deville versus like, you don't have to do this tag team match every single week, because that's what they've been doing for the past month and a half. At least with Riot Squad, they kind of change it up every once in a while, and they kind of do single matches. With Raw, it's like, let's do Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville and Paige 3-on-3s against the same team and pretend as if no one's gonna notice this. Like, come on now. I know you could do better than this. Anyways, move on. It was a segment between Cedric Alexander and Goldust. I don't really know the context of it because I wasn't paying attention that much. We then got to a match between Matt Hardy and Kurt Hawkins. Matt Hardy debuted a new theme song. He was talking about being woken, like, woken. He did his laugh and talking. I must say, Matt Hardy, when he was broken in TNA, it was so cool. It was so unique. It was so creative. Him being woken in WWE, it's still creative, unique, but I feel like every other minute is just him laughing, and that is so annoying. Like, I don't know if you guys find it funny. I mean, I found it funny the first few times. I found it funny the first few weeks. Now it's very annoying. I almost cannot stand his laugh at this point. He beats Kurt Hawkins in a pretty quick squash-like fashion. Bray Wyatt comes out, interrupts him, and let me take a guess. Take a good guess of what Bray Wyatt and freaking Matt Hardy did for not one, not two, but 3 whole minutes. Go ahead. I'll give you a few seconds to figure out what they did for 3 minutes. Ooh, we have some comments here. Let me check these comments real quick. Let's see. What's up, Chris Brown? Yeah, my throat's not all too well right now. But that's really because I'm trying to speak in a low voice, and I can't really project that much right now, especially because my voice still isn't all that, well. Dean Ambrose is Dean Ambrose is still injured, yeah. Dana Brooks Tatas was the main event, and Artist Shield broke up. No, they didn't break up just yet. Ramsey got it right. They laughed. They laughed for 3 whole minutes. Or 3 minutes of and then Bray Wyatt just laughed. I was like, can they not do anything else other than this? Nothing else. You can't do any other segment. You can't do any other scenario. You can't have them go any other place. But do this laugh off every week. How is this getting me hyped for their match? I don't. Now, maybe they're catering to the fans who used to, like, reflect back on when he was in the Broken Hardys. I was a fan of the Broken Universe. This, however, poor man's version of the Broken Universe. I sincerely hope that, because it seems like they're going to be doing this until Royal Rumble, which is sad. I hope they don't. I hope they finally realize, oh, we've been doing this for the past month and a half now. How about we do a different scenario? Maybe they'll realize that, maybe they won't. After this match, have Matt Hardy do something else. Have him go solo and just do promos out in the streets, out in subways, out at a museum somewhere for a while, and then come back to Bray Wyatt. You have to establish Matt Hardy as, like, just have him do random shit out in the street or something. Like, just him doing standoff laugh-offs with Bray Wyatt isn't amusing at all. It's getting downright annoying at this point. And honestly, I'm not finding this feud intriguing at all. Not at all. So, here's to hoping that in the next 2 weeks, because we have 2 weeks into the Rumble. Rumble's only 2 weeks away. Here's to hoping that in 2 weeks' time, they could turn this feud around. But as of right now, I don't care about Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy. I really don't. Not right now. Do not care. Yeah, I wrote down face-to-face with Bray Wyatt. That went on forever. Okay, so after that segment, we had Elias come out, which is always my favorite part of Raw. Who is ready to walk with Elias? And he starts singing to Memphis. I didn't write down the lyrics, of course, but it's always a great time when Elias is singing to the crowd. And he introduces The Miz, and I was pretty happy to see The Miz come back. Miz came out to Miz Taraj. Miz talks about how great of a year he had in 2017. He was nominated Rolling Stone Dresser of the Year as they're gonna keep on shoving down your throat because they didn't do Salami Awards. I don't know why they stopped doing it at this point, but you know, it's whatever. And he's talking about how he's gonna reclaim the Intercontinental Championship and make it his, and he wants to basically make the Intercontinental Championship part of, like, basically his. Like, he wants to, when people think of the Intercontinental Championship, they think of him. They don't think of Mr. Perfect. They don't think of Bret Hart. They don't think of Shawn Michaels. They think of The Miz, which is great. I love it. I love how they're, like, making The Miz, like, yeah, I can go for WWE Championship. I can go for the World Heavyweight Championship. I can go for Universal Championship. But I want this championship because this championship means the world to me. The Miz honestly makes the Intercontinental Championship mean something, and I really love that about the Miz character. So hopefully he wins the championship back. Holds on to it for a long time, loses it, and wins it back, and becomes a record time Intercontinental Champion. Because I think him and that championship are gold. Anyway, we get to a match with Enzo Amore and Cedric Alexander. This was a really interesting match. Not interesting in the fact that the match was good, because the match was okay. But interesting in the fact that there's one spot where Enzo and Cedric are going at each other. And Cedric decides to go for his handstand on the rope. You know, when he does that handstand, ricochets off the ropes and does the knee or gives a kick to the face. He does it, but his knee hits Enzo's eye, and it kind of, I don't know if it shattered something. It is like one of the regions around his eye or something. But he busted Enzo's open, and he was bleeding on the side of his face. It wasn't like gushing blood or like it was dripping everywhere, but like he was bleeding. Like, you remember back at NXT Takeover San Antonio when Samoa Joe was bleeding in his match against Finn Balor? How Joe was just bleeding all over the side of his face. It was that, but like toned down by like 2 notches. That was Enzo Amore. He was bleeding on the side of his face. Referee got the gloves on. I'm afraid, oh boy, they're about to stop the match. They didn't stop the match, thankfully. Enzo kept on going. However, the match did get stopped after winning it stopped, but Enzo got sent to the outside. He's still bleeding, mind you. Referee really doesn't get a chance to stop it. Cedric runs ropes. He hits a plancha onto Enzo. Enzo lands really weirdly onto his ankle. He's saying, no, not right now. I'm thinking this is real, but then I'm like, you know, he's probably selling a fake injury. Did a really good job of selling it. Kudos to Enzo for selling that injury. Did a pretty good job. He's on an angle. He's clutching it. Referee's checking on him. Referee gets to the ring. He's like, you know, I still got to count. Referee counts to 10. Enzo gets counted out. It was a Cruiserweight Championship match, so he still retains the title, even though Cedric Alexander wins the match. You know how that all goes. Enzo gets escorted to the back. Nia Jax goes to check on him. You know, he tries to gussy up, like, oh yeah, there's a hurt. As soon as Nia leaves, she starts crying a little bitch. You know, that kind of stuff. So, it was a backstage segment with Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle's talking to some female on the phone, talking about, yeah, I want you to be in the Royal Rumble. Excuse me, I want you to be in the female Royal Rumble match. I think you're a big star from the previous era, all this other kind of stuff. So, that's pretty cool. The bar interludes talking about how he does favoritism, which they do every single week. And they're talking about how they never got their championship rematch. So Kurt sets the bar versus Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan for the Raw Tag Team Championship at the Royal Rumble. And I'm like, can't we please move on from this feud? How long of Seth and Dean? I know Dean's not in the feud right now. But if Jason Jordan didn't get inserted into that slot, it would have been Seth and Dean versus The Bar. I'm tired of seeing Seth and The Bar together. I don't care that Jason Jordan got replaced by Dean Ambrose. I don't want to see this match. Move on. Why do they feel like they got to be stuck in this feud? Why do they have this niche where if we have a feud that works, we're going to stretch it out for 9, 6. Why do they stretch feuds out forever? I don't get that. If a feud's great, yeah, stretch it out for like 4, 5, 6 months. Get everything you can out of it. But when a feud runs its course, go into the next one. They, for some reason, they feel the need to stretch a feud out for as long as they think it could go. No matter how many repeat matches you have to sit through, they're going to stretch this feud out. And it's like, I don't get why they do that. I don't get it. So we're going to see yet another Bar versus Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan match at the Royal Rumble, which I'm not excited for. But anyway, The Miz then comes to Kurt Angle and demands a championship match. Well, he kind of demands, but he just basically asks for a championship match. And Kurt Angle grants him a Intercontinental Championship rematch at Raw's 25th anniversary, which I believe Miz is going to win the title back at that show. I'll be shocked if he doesn't. Then we get The Bar versus Titus Worldwide in a match. Really, it was an okay match. Titus Worldwide gets a roll up on Titus gets a roll up on Sheamus, and the match kind of ends like that. Pretty shocking. I didn't expect Titus Worldwide to win, but it was kind of a fluke finish, whatever. Get Titus Worldwide a little bit of a nudge there for all the shit they go through. Probably set up a little mini feud leading to the Rumble. No one gives a shit. But anyway, I think I might have missed something. Hold on, let me check. Did I miss something in between here? Or I think I might have hit all the points. You said water. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry if my throat is like really irritating. Well, because, I'm still kind of sick. Anyway, so we get to a match between Samoa Joe and Rhino, which should be an interesting match, but of course this is a squash match to put Samoa Joe over. If this was at NXT, it would have been a very interesting match, but obviously, we got to get Samoa Joe over. So they have him squash Rhino in pretty much like 3 minutes, and that's kind of it. At this point, we're at the 10th hour, and I'm like, I'm so over this show. I don't care about what happens next, but despite that, I sit through the rest of it. So, there's a segment between Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss, and this was such a weird segment. Well, I mean, It was a long seg. It was a long. It was a weird segment because Nia Jax is talking to Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss is like, "Oh, I can't believe what Asuka said about you," and Nia's like, "I don't really care what Asuka said about me," and Alexa's like, "I think you should," and like Nia's like, "Okay, what did she say about me?" She's like, and Alexa's like, "Nah, I'm not gonna tell you," and she's like, "Well, you already brought it up, so just tell me." And Alexa's like, "Nah, I know how you get when people say shit about you," and Nia's like, "You already brought it up, so just tell me." And Alexa's like, "Nah, I'm your friend. I don't want to hurt your feelings." She's like, "Bruh, just tell me." And Alexa's like, "Look, I know how you get. I'm not gonna like bitch. Just tell me." And she whispers something in her ear, and no one knows what she said. She's like, "She said that?" And Alexa's like, "Girl, what you gonna do about it?" And then Nia's like, "Do you speak Japanese?" And Alexa's like, And then she says some very racist, weird shit. She says to Alexa, "Do you speak Japanese?" And Alexa's like, "No." And Nia says, "Cause Asuka doesn't speak English." I'm just like, what the fuck? What the fuck kind of comeback is that? Cause Asuka doesn't speak English. Who the fuck writes that? Who wrote that? Who wrote that line? Do you speak Japanese? Cause Asuka doesn't speak English. Not only does that not make any fucking sense, but that's pretty racist. I mean, I don't think it's really racist, but like, do you speak Japanese? Because obviously Asuka's Japanese. And then she's like, "Cause Asuka doesn't speak English." Because obviously Asuka speaks broken English. Way to state the fucking obvious. Do you want to fucking cook? Like, I don't get why that line was even included in that promo. Whoever wrote that line should be prohibited from writing promos for ever. Like, no more promos for this guy. So anyway, Asuka makes her way out to the ring, come out for a match. I don't know who she's about to face. She is on the rope. She's doing her little light years away. Nia Jax comes from behind her. She basically gets Asuka up and nails her with an electric chair drop and hits her with a rolling senton, lays out Asuka, and walks to the back. That's kind of it. Then we get to the main event: Roman Reigns, Jason Jordan, and Seth Rollins versus the Balor Club. At this point, I'm like, I don't give a shit about the rest of the show. I'm ready to tune out. Like, wait, like, you know how most weeks, which honestly, I would have been perfectly fine if they did it this week. You know how most weeks on always complaining and shit. Shut up, Shadow Warhawk. You know how some weeks where they usually put the main event of the show in the main event of the top of the second hour, so that way, like, because they know that once the third hour comes, people are going to tune out of the show. People don't really watch the third hour of Raw, so they're like, you know, we're going to put the big part at the second hour of Raw. So that way, people could leave, or they could choose to stay and watch the rest of the show. However, they decided to keep the best part of the show at the very end, when everyone's tired or ready to go home, ready to go to sleep. So I managed to kind of sit through this match, and it was a pretty good match, nonetheless. Well, it's between good and decent. It wasn't like Light My World on Fire match, but Jason Jordan kind of indirectly distracted Roman Reigns at one point of the match. Roman Reigns is going for a tag, but Jason Jordan gets in the ring, tries to talk some back to Luke Gallows. Referee doesn't see the tag, and ends up sending Roman Reigns back outside the ring, even though Roman Reigns is a legal man. And this gives them a chance at the match, Killer and Seth Rollins. They go for a pin, kick out at 2. Then they go for another. There was another spot where Jason Jordan once again distracted them indirectly, but I forgot what the spot was. But long story short, the Balor Club, gets the win over the Sword of Shield. And that's kind of how the show ends. And I'm like, wow, this was a colossal waste of my time. I could have this is one of those episodes where it's like, this is exactly why I don't watch Raw. This is like, these are one of those episodes where I just sit there like, this is exactly why I don't watch Raw. Before the new year, y'all know me. I don't watch Raw. I don't watch SmackDown. I watch the pay-per-views, and I watch everything else in between. But Raw, SmackDown, I don't watch that stuff. I'm gonna give it a chance since this is New Year, but you can't go from a good show to a bad show like that. And hopefully next week is gonna be something different. That's gonna be the go home show before the big Raw show, and then that's the go home show before the pay-per-view. So next week is gonna be the turnaround week. We're gonna see how they basically build up to the big show, which is Raw's 25th anniversary. You got a lot of big names coming back for that show. CM Punk gonna be making a return. He's not making a return. I'm just kidding. But a lot of big names are gonna be coming into that show. I can't wait for it. Am I excited for next week's episode of Raw? Not really, but I will be too to get to that show, as well as tomorrow's Tuesday Night SmackDown. I'm gonna be at work during SmackDown, but I will be catching the highlights and everything of the show on my bus ride home, and then I will be doing a review of the show as soon as I get home and watch the full show. So without further ado, thank you guys for watching this episode. I know it probably was a very bad review. My throat is itching and killing me, and I really did not want to do this review, but you know what? I really did a live stream in a few days. I want to get this out because I'm pretty dedicated. I want to get this out to you guys. I love you guys that much. So, once again, I love you guys as always, and I will talk to you all later. Peace out.